It's the sport in the DNA of every Indian, and the eyes of the world will be on India as the FIH Hockey World Cup begins in the eastern Indian state of Odisha. I'm delighted to be joined by the chief coach of the Indian men's hockey team, Reid, as well as veteran goalkeeper and former captain PR Sreejesh. Sri, thank you for your time. I know just 24 hours to go for the first game of the tournament for you, so really appreciate you taking the time out. I'll start with you, Sri. Most players end up playing one home World Cup. For you, this is the third home World Cup. It probably says a lot about how India is driving the global game and especially the state of Odisha.
Definitely, brother. I'm fortunate to play my third World Cup in my own soil, so it's a great blessing for me. And being a player, that's a fresh reality, because you will get the reaction from your own audience there itself. If you win, they'll cheer you. If you lose, you know the reality. And definitely, this is how the Indian hockey is developing now. And I should say that Odisha is taking initiative and conducting back-to-back World Cup. It's you should need more courage to do that, and they're doing it in a wonderful way. And we, Indian team, as including the coach, we are excited to play this game in front of the new ground here in Dorkala, expecting crowd of almost 25,000 people, and just excited to wait our opening game.
You know, he spoke about the new stadium in Rourkela, but are we also seeing perhaps a reset in the way hockey has sort of been perceived and played? Because usually the World Cups are held in one city, maybe a couple of venues in the same city. But this time it's going to two different cities. We've seen that sort of format happen in cricket, in football. Do you think that's the way forward for hockey as well, to have a truly country-wise World Cup and not just limited to one city?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of necessity as expectations grow of the sort of infrastructure that's required for these large events. It really sometimes needs more than one, for example, city. Sometimes it's more than one country to provide that infrastructure. And you know, we're lucky enough to have Odisha support this and have both towns, both cities really behind it. And you know, talking about infrastructure, it's seriously a world-class stadium here in Rourkela. What they've achieved in the last 15 months is incredible.
I must just, on a lighter note, must say that I sort of grew up in Bhubaneswar and my in-laws are from Rourkela, so I have a connection with both cities, gentlemen.
Yes, well, I can see why it's the home of hockey.
Yeah, it's true. Not sure
we had an internal. we had I mean, it was the opening of the stadium last week, but we celebrated by having an internal game between our own team. You know, our normal sort of internal blue versus white game, and we had 20,000 people watching and screaming and whatever. It was quite an amazing thing to experience.
Yeah, but Graham, you know, when you talk about 20,000 people, there's also obviously that kind of pressure of expectations which Sreejesh spoke about. How do you manage the team's expectations, especially going into a home tournament where, as Sreejesh said, every goal will be cheered, but every miss or every goal you concede, there will sort of be that hiss or that sound of stunned silence from the stadium?
Yeah, look, it is one of the challenges, of course, and I mean, our team is used to it to a degree, having played in Bhubaneswar. Almost all of them have played in front of quite large crowds there, so that part of it is I think going to be okay. We talk a lot about making sure that we play in a way where we're not reliant on our speech, so that we can make sure that we look around and know what's around us, because you do get a little bit reliant in our game where you call and you talk and during the match. And so we've been doing a lot of work with that. But as far as the expectations, yeah, of course, that's always the case in when you play in front of your home crowd. But what comes with that also is that excitement and that you get with that, and we're sort of banking on that. It's a two-edged sword. It's a matter of balancing it and trying to make sure that we stay focused on the task at hand, and that's the key ingredient.
Sreejesh, you were a key member of the Indian squad that ended the wait for an Olympic medal, a long wait which stretched back to 1980. Do you think that, now when you're heading into this World Cup, people are talking about, oh, India hasn't won a medal since 1975. Do you think that Indian hockey has had a line in the sand moment at the Tokyo Games, and going forward, you're going to be judged on what happens after Tokyo and not what happened before that?
See, every time when you prepare for a major events, it's a normal thing for everyone to look behind for the history. They need to pick up something for a hot news. But for being a player, for me, is to just to focus on now and what is happening now with this team. Because when you are going a tournament with a lot of expectations, that is going to put more added pressure on you, and that will distract you from what you are focusing on. So for us, the main target for this group is to not to allow any outside source of pressure to get in and drive us. Rather than that, we just focus on each matches, because this World Cup, you know that how we going to start this all the matches in the league round. We got two crucial matches back. I mean, back to back. Then we are looking forward for the quarterfinals and the higher ranking matches. So for me, more important is like you take the experience from your Tokyo or the tournaments, whichever you won previously. Take that experience, go with that spirit, rather than just worrying about what the ancestors has done, and just focus on now and to prepare your best to play your best performance on this particular tournament.
Since we are talking about Tokyo, Graham, how has the team evolved since the Tokyo Olympics? Have you sort of managed to achieve that consistency per game that you so badly crave for? Or is it still a work of progress considering the transition that is happening?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think probably every coach is chasing that consistency, and it's like perfection. You never get there. You always think, oh, we had a 5-minute period there where things were not so good. But I think we're getting less of them. However, of course, as you evolve a group and you get new players in, you also have to educate, have to get them used to the way that we play, and we are not the only team that goes through that. Of course, every team has new players come in. They have to learn the way we play. You have that evolving, and rules change. The opposition changes the way that they play against you. So it's really a continual process. And the other part about coaching is that you're never quite sure where you are in compared to the rest of the world. You get glimpses of where you sit or where you feel you sit, and it isn't until the big tournaments when you actually probably work out exactly where you are, because that's when teams bring their best games and their best teams and their best preparation.
Graham, when you talk about preparation, I want to bring up the Commonwealth Games final. Wasn't the result you would have hoped for, but then you took the team and went to Australia. It's always a tough place to tour, and there were very high scoring games, and there were 2 games where the margin of defeat was just that 1 goal, and you also managed to beat Australia. Is that the sort of tough games the team needed to prepare for this World Cup?
Yeah, a few people actually said, what are you doing? Why are you going to Australia? But it's like anything. If you need to face your greatest fears, and I felt it at the time, we really needed to go and play against Australia more than just the once. A lot of the times you only get to play against these really good teams once at the end of the tournament or something along those lines. And so it was nice for our guys to understand, look, we are competitive against them. They have 2 arms, they have 2 legs. Yeah, of course we also got beaten, but you learn from that. I think that was the great thing. So we had some really good quality competition, and hopefully we've got some lessons from that we can bring into this tournament.
Okay, Sreejesh, I hope Graham doesn't mind the next question, because you alluded to the fact that there are no easy games at the World Cup, and especially for the Indian team, the draw hasn't been too kind. If I could reference a football term, it's sort of the group of death with England, Spain, and Wales. But it's also a sort of a challenge, isn't it? You get through all of this, you top the group, and then you carry some serious momentum into the knockouts.
Definitely, brother. I always believe this because some tournaments you get that baby steps before just to step into the bigger matches. But now this tournament is going for us like just go from the first match till the last match. It's going to be a real good fight because for even Wales we can't take them granted because the way they played in Commonwealth Games was really good and really they put up a very good tough fight. So for us, it's all about a match 100%, just give it and forget it, move on, because there is, I mean, in this tournament especially, there is no time for any regrets, because if you take any moment to regret, then that means you lose somewhere, or some teams are getting some advantage from there. So it's important for us to understand the real chances of us in this tournament and how we can take that chances into our hand and how to hold it within us, because whichever the small mistakes what we make are going to be an advantage for the opponent.
Yes, Sreejesh, we coming into this World Cup on the back of a great football World Cup, and sort of that backs to the wall mentality which Graham was speaking about. We saw that in that final as well. Is that something this will be the most memorable for you as well? Just sort of reaching the end of your careers, if I'm allowed to say that, and sort of perhaps hoping to end on a great note at home?
Definitely, that is what I used to tell my players. Listen, the Argentinian team, they entirely played for Messi. So the same way you all can stand up and play for me, because you see, nobody knows what is going to happen tomorrow. And we had a very brief and a healthy talk in our team. We had a talk and everyone said, this is a large opportunity. Even coach mentioned this to us. This is a group and this is our last opportunity to win a medal. Nobody knows who are going to be there in the next World Cup. Nobody knows who will be there. So we need to play the way like that. So for me personally, if you say yes, I always say this is my last chance to create an history and to be part of an history. And definitely, if you do that in front of your own people, then that is going to be the best thing ever can happen.
Okay, let's do it for Sreejesh. Let's get that hashtag trending. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Sreejesh, hopefully you have a good World Cup. And Graham, I'll probably see you guys in Bhubaneswar in a few days from now. But go out there, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the moment, and hope you get some good results.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. See you later.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bye. Thank you.